She's been Miss India and Miss World, and now she's Bollywood's top actress. But the amazing thing is she makes it seem so simple. So what's the secret of her success? Well, today is your chance to find out when in one of her rare interviews, I introduce you to Aishwarya Rai. Welcome to the program, Aishwarya.
Thank you.
It's amazing that your first film, Iruvar, was only released in 1997, and yet 3 years later you've swept all the major Best Actress awards, and you're considered the #1. Are you surprised by your own success?
Clever. Success is a relative term, and I always say that you've got to enjoy it and not believe it, as simple as that, because everybody has their own definitions and parameters of what really success is all about. To me, probably achieving contentment and growing every day, enjoying my art while learning it, is probably to some extent what I'd call success.
So what about the fan following, the adulation, the kids queuing up for autographs? Doesn't that mean anything?
Of course it's special, and it is, for me, it's special because I just think that it just must be taking so much for people to come forth and to request and ask for the autograph. It's only them, you know, showing their love. And
it's also happened so quickly in just 3 or 4 years. Do you sometimes ever pinch yourself and say, is this for real?
For me, maybe in terms of you know, interacting with the people, with the public, has been around for a bit longer than 3 years. It's been since pre-Miss World, actually, even as modeling and from Miss World. So it's been, that's been around for a while.
All over
I never drooling, but in terms of, I always love that interaction. That I've probably gotten used to. But in terms of, yeah, I must admit that it feels very good to have received that recognition and appreciation in this new world, that's the film world, because there were a lot of preconceived notions which...
a newcomer can't do it, they said.
And a model and a beauty queen at it? Never.
So that's the real thread. You proved them all wrong.
With a lot of guidance, help and support.
But it was a challenge, wasn't it? You rose to the challenge, and that's the real thrill.
All right, you get me to confess. Yeah, it has been a thrill to be able... It has been a joy, and it has satisfied me to be able to answer and put to rest a lot of preconceived notions.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning of what I might call the Aishwarya Rai story. I gather alongside your parents, there's just your brother Aditya and you. So was it a very close-knit family?
Yes, yes, definitely. And the little joke about my brother is that he's elder than me, and it's almost probably because I've just always been so grown up. Like as a kid, they refer to this talkative little girl as a granny, you know how it is. It's like she just goes blah, 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 blah. And I have an elder brother who's far more reticent, more controlled, more, actually you dub that mature, but because I'm so over the top, I almost come across, with time, I've come across as far older than him. Also because of the kind of experience I've had in these various areas. So that obviously opens doors, your parameters, your entire perspective to life.
So here's little sis who's often his big grandmom as well.
And now more so. I mean, it's such a joke that even the media, I mean, recently we were at a function as a family and we were all clicked together. And you actually have them write little brother Aditya, and I was like, you know, you can't be doing this to me. And my brother cracks up. He's like, you know, maybe now I should start believing it, because it's just become like a regular thing, not just like in the media. We go somewhere and we introduce ourselves, like I said, it's my brother Aditya. And he goes, hi, I'm elder than her. And we know the reaction that's coming. It's always like, really? And I'm like, I don't know how to react to that. I do not know if that's a compliment or what.
Your mom also says that she was the most talkative child imaginable.
You can see that now already. I'm hardly giving you a chance to throw your questions.
So you're not shy?
No, no.
No nerves?
No nerves, simply because there are no pretenses, as opposed to, I mean, people always thought there was this very, I had this veneer, there was this whole ice maiden aura that apparently people perceived me to have, excuse me. And that's probably because I gauge people that, more so initially.
You mean underneath that placid exterior is a cold, cruel, calculating mind that gauges everyone?
You tell me.
Those eyes say
gauging?
It. Those eyes say
it. I mean, how do you call gauging people that you want to interact with as being cold and calculative? I don't think those two go together. you're taking all the negative terms. That's not fair. It's probably been being careful and maybe even defensive to some extent, because you do not want to open yourself up to just about everybody.
You protect yourself a lot?
I think naturally, yes. Today on hindsight, I'd say that, yeah, naturally, I have probably subconsciously developed.
Are you vulnerable? Do you get hurt easily?
Probably that's why, yeah.
They say that right from your school days, you were always best at whatever you tried to do. I gather you always came top of the class.
By the grace of God.
Were you a cram?
By the grace of, no, I was not a cram. I was lucky. No, I would study at the nth moment, but I think somewhere God gifted me with a bit of photographic memory, so I managed to sort of take it on in at the nth moment and be able to deliver.
But I gather that after years of coming top of the class, suddenly when you came into the 10th grade, it didn't work out.
You've been told. Yes. Yeah, I think that's when I really appreciated coming tops.
But what happened in the 10th when you came with the 8th rank?
Yeah, oh Christ, you've been told even that. Yeah, that was a huge disappointment. Like, that's what I mean. That's probably when I, for the first time, appreciated the rank that I'd had all along. And when they expected the most in the 10th grade, it's like, that's the board exam, and, you know, is she going to break the records this year? Is she going to top? And it's like, not first, not second, not third, to the 8th. It was a huge disappointment, and I felt like this absolute failure, and I was like so disappointed. But
did that setback make you a little better as a person?
yes, I'm more sure, not as a person. You know, I like the way Karan is just judging and saying that I had a problem in my personality. No, I think that, like I said, it made me more appreciative
of success.
Of success, and definitely prepared me for life being as cyclic as it is. You know, it prepared me for the wave pattern in life, that you'd ride the crest, you'd go through the trough, and that's what life is all about. And it probably made me, whenever I said the Buddhist method, the middle path mode of life, it made my approach to life that way.
Seems to have made you a bit philosophical as well.
Yes, definitely. And I grew up a lot, and I'm glad. It really prepared me for what life is really all about.
Now you talk about what life is all about. You became a part of everyone's life when you won Miss India. Take me back to that moment. What made you compete in that competition?
I must confess, it was no childhood ambition. There was no thing that, oh, I have to be Miss India.
It was an accident?
Probably by virtue of being in the media world. I was modeling.
And you did it for a lark?
Honestly, and that was also over my decision to join movies.
So were you surprised when you won?
It felt very good, but there was a lot of, I mean, I did come second, because...
Just by 0.1?
Yeah.
Was that disappointing?
No, see, I must, there was this whole, the media just played it up for so long, creating it like this huge disappointment and a huge failure, which is what takes me back to my 10th grade results. That's what I mean, that I did not perceive this as a failure, because one did not fail in life. It did not set me back any which ways, and it was just a competition. There would be
media also played up a sort of Shushmita Sen, Aishwarya Rai rivalry.
Which was absolutely unfair, because they were just two participants who placed, and by the grace of God did well even later internationally. So there was no need for this little tamasha that happened, but it did. And
the tamasha went completely huge when you won Miss World 11 months later. At what point during that very, very coveted competition did you say to yourself, I think I've got a chance?
No, on the contrary, I was like, uh-oh, the signs are the same like Miss India, because because all the signs during the competition, this I've never spoken about, I must tell you, was exactly as it happened during the Miss India, when there was this whole level of expectation out of me. Strangely and wonderfully so, the same thing happened at Miss World. Even though you go as an absolute non-entity, I mean, no one judges you there. You're just a participant from your country. You're representing India. Within that month, I had become very, very popular, and there was a lot of, in the international press, amongst the select few contestants, I was topped as, you know, I was bidded as definitely one of the very strong contestants and probable winner. So I was like, uh-oh, this can't be happening again to me. I don't quite like the feel of this. So there was this happening. Then, just before I left for Miss India, of the final gown, my zip had split. These are like really little things, not that I'm superstitious, but my zip had split, and my gown was brought there by the designer. to Goa. My contest was in Goa. The same thing happened during the Miss World. On the evening that I was flying out, I just did this final trial and the zip split and it all had to be repaired. So it came in later and I was like, everything. It rained here, it rained there. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not even superstitious, but all the signs are the same. I was like, all right, I mean, I'm just going to enjoy this competition, and the experience was honestly wonderful.
So when you won and you completely covered your face with your hands, was that disbelief or
and
joy?
No, it was joy, and later on I kind of kicked myself. I'm like, throughout the rehearsals, we all would mock this. It's like in every beauty contest, you'd have the girls go, ah! So we do this in every rehearsal. We don't fool around and say, like, whoever was the winner.
You mean you didn't want to do it for real?
I didn't want to, and it happened. I was like, uh-oh, it happened. It just goes to show that this really is a spontaneous reaction that has happened over the years with all the girls, probably, you know.
But at that one moment when you wanted to be completely yourself, you found yourself...
And still, you can't do this. So obviously, that's what I mean. That was myself. That has probably been every winner, literally. And we kind of... You know, I mean, even later, today, you have probably a section of the media or people spoofing and saying, oh, you're a winner? But that happens. I mean, even we made fun, and it happened to me. So it is a spontaneous reaction, trust me.
Ash, let's take a break. I want to come back in part 2 and talk about Aishwarya, the actress, the girl that features probably in every man's dreams. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Stick with us. Welcome back. My guest is Aishwarya Rai. Ash, let's talk a little about your career as an actress, which is how the world knows you today. Your first film, Iruvar, appeared, but they said it wasn't the world's greatest hit. Was that disappointing?
No, because I was not here to work in hits. I was here to work in the movies. I mean,
so it's an
what
actress,
decides
not a
the box
star?
office results is very, very subjective. I mean, and for me, very honestly, I've said this very often, joining the movies was no stepping stone or platform to fame, popularity, you know, getting acquainted with the media, appearing on magazine covers, doing interviews. That was not my objective at all. That had all happened. That phase was not that I ever searched that, and that I'd already been through.
So you really wanted to be an actress?
Yeah, I mean,
it was a talent you wanted to show.
Having decided to do that, yes.
Except that the bad luck happened again with Ab Pyar Ho Gaya, your first Hindi film. Once again, it wasn't considered to be a success, and 2 in a row must have been difficult to handle.
No, because see, you look at it this way. For me, the best school, my perspective is very, very different. The way I look at my life is not following any fixed notions, not the way the rest of the world looks. I decide how I perceive my life and the events in it.
This is a bit of the Buddhist philosophy, isn't it?
My own philosophy, probably life taught me. So I'd say that that's why I keep that 10th standard incident is so important in the family or probably in my life, is because that really, in a way, I guess it was God's way of setting my perspective in life the way it is
and
today.
giving you a balance.
An absolute and a complete balance. And
but you know, can I interrupt? It wasn't just you that's different. Sometimes even the comments the world made about you were so different. After those first 2 movies, they used to say, she's too beautiful to be an actress. Her features are too perfect to show emotion. How did you cope with that rather strange slap in the face criticism that was also a compliment?
So now, that's what I mean. Opinions are always, it's always been 2 sides of the coin for me in life. That's why I keep going back to school, life. It was always 2 sides. While you're a topper, you do really well. At the same time, they think, no, there can't be a brain behind that face. So at the same time, while, you know, you can act, there's already the preconceived notion. So people have their opinions, and you just have to let that be.
Said. There can't be a brain behind the face. Do you find that because you're so beautiful, people assume, well, maybe she's not as intelligent?
But then I can't keep living on an assumption. I have to live my life, and life will speak for itself. And by the grace of God, it has all along.
But certainly the way people perceived you as an actress changed dramatically in 1999 with Hum Dil Chuke Saath Sanam, and then again with Tal.
Yeah.
Why do you think those 2 movies clicked?
It would be tough for me to tell as to why. If we knew the answer to those whys, every movie would be a Hum Dil and a Tal, trust me.
Do you need good, strong directors to bring out your real talent? Is that what made the difference in these 2 movies? Sanjay Leela Bhansali and perhaps Subhash Ghai?
I won't decry the rest of my directors either. Where movies have not commercially worked, I would not turn around and say that the directors were not fun to work with or I did not learn anything from them. No, that's not true. But yes, the director is very important for me, and that applies to every movie that I've worked with. I believe I'm a director's actress because it's the director's conviction in the character which increases my conviction in it, and that's what eventually you see. So when there's the absolute conviction, and I enjoy working with that unit, in that role, with that director, it shows.
So can I put it like this? The more clear-headed the director and the better the rapport between him and you, the better your performance.
And the fact that I'm enjoying doing what I am, I think that's what eventually
Enjoyment
really,
is very
really
important
shows.
to you. You really need to enjoy acting.
Enjoy what I'm doing. I've got to enjoy my character. I've got to enjoy the unit I'm working with. And that tells, because at the end of the day, we're all human. I mean, you watch a movie in 3 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever the duration, but that's about 100 days of my life.
True.
And I'm human.
Can I put this to you? At the end of the day, what would be more important for you, to be remembered for your incredible looks or for your subtle actress talent?
Definitely. I mean, I'm here as an actress, and I would definitely want to be remembered as an actress. That's what I'm here for. Looks, this has been something I've been born with, I live with, and that's going to fade with life. I mean, that's all, it's all about, this is just something you're born with.
You're not conscious of being one of the most beautiful women on the screen.
Don't embarrass me now. I don't know how to react to these things.
Your friends say that she's a very determined lady. She always does what she wants, and she says what she believes. Is that correct?
I definitely say what I believe, and in doing what I want is I believe in what I do.
Are you also outspoken, or are you a diplomat and discreet?
I am outspoken to the extent of definitely I would not mince words in putting forth my opinion. I'm very honest and direct to that extent. But if being kind is being diplomatic, then that's what I am. I don't believe in just, when I'm being outspoken, I am sensitive to the other human being.
So
yes, that's important to me. People's sentiments are important because it's just so easy for me to put myself in their shoes and say, look, there are ways of saying things. You can be outspoken and direct, and you yet don't have to hit below the belt. You don't have to hurt
So what you're saying
people.
is, I don't want to be hurtful, but equally I want people to take me the way I am. I don't want to put on an act
Definitely.
to be accepted.
There are no pretenses. There never has been.
Now, one of the things that has happened to you is that you've become the subject of a lot of gossip and a lot of film magazine speculation. Do you resent the intrusion into your privacy?
As you said, these are film magazines which have existed always along with the film industry, and there's nothing that one can really do. Sadly, in our country, there's very little that you can do. Yeah, there's very little you can do in this country, so you've got to live your life. You've got to live your life. Thankfully, today I'm very appreciative of this media where people get to listen to me as I speak and see me for who I am, and I believe people can then very easily believe in people for who they are.
A lot of the speculation is about that central question, when will she get married? Is marriage imminent?
Eventually, in everyone's life, obviously it is. So it would be, and when it does, I guess the world will know about it.
Can I ask how far away is eventually?
If only I knew how far away everything about life is. I mean, just like every other aspect, I really
But it's something you take in your stride. It's not something that you're determined to do just to keep everyone else happy and to keep the gossips at bay.
No, it's all part of life. There's nothing that I've ever done pandering to or catering to in any aspect of my life.
You know, last year, when the magazines were absolutely convinced that you were going to marry Salman, they gave you a really tough time. In fact, there was a moment when you fell down the stairs and they were convinced he'd beaten you up.
Like they did when I fell down the stairs during Miss India, and they were convinced that's why I lost. So, I mean, people always have their reasons, and they'll always create a story around it. But when I get that opportunity, I tell the truth as is, and then it's left to you to believe.
Can I ask you for the record, what happened when you fell down the stairs, and why did they end up saying that Salman had beaten you instead?
I don't know what to say about as to why. How can I answer as to why people claim or say what they do? But the fact is that I slipped. I actually passed out, and I fell down the stairs outside my house, and that's exactly what happened. And
it was exhaustion and nothing to do with Salman whatsoever.
Obviously, I mean, yes, but then obviously you can't go around saying, oh, I'm so exhausted and I fainted, because then you know what, then the industry would panic at that point in time, and they turn around and say, you know, oh, is it overwork, and this is what's happening. So
you're saying a very fair thing, and one that I think many people would agree with. Do you find the media becoming more responsive and more responsible? I mean, is this year easier than last year?
How much can... The fact that I've never really pandered to and catered to the media all these years is because then it's this ridiculous pattern that follows where you are offering explanations for life that you don't need to.
Sure.
And when you're going to do this, the only reason I even spoke was because I felt genuinely someone else was being victimized unnecessarily. Our families were being roped in. My family, his family, people are being unnecessarily being put through pain and made a media spectacle out of for no rhyme or reason. It's a symbiotic relationship, the industry and the media. That's happened, one recognizes it. But you cannot cross barometers and turn around and character assassinate, whereby then you've got, you know, groups, you've got bodies out there where they can make things sometimes communal. I mean, if you recognize sensitivities of communities, of a country, you recognize sensitive issues, I think the media has a responsibility not to cross barometers, and they've done that. And they misquote people, they put words in people's mouths, which can become very, very grave, sensitive issues. And I think this is where I actually reach out and request the media to recognize their responsibility.
So how much of you gets made up by the press? How often do you read things and say, hey, who's this about? Not me, clearly.
I don't know, it's been very strange, because it wouldn't be fair for me to generalize and just say, oh, stop press, or oh, press has been so unfair. No, that's not true. A large fraction of the press has been wonderful, and I've been interacting with them all along, right from the onset. But then again, that's what surprises me, because every time a representative of the press came and met me, they'd keep coming away with saying, you're not who you're projected to be. What I want to ask is, who projected me as who you perceive me to be? Your body. You guys projected me as something. You guys come meeting me and saying, you're not who you're made out to be. And then again, you go out there, and then again, years later, it's still the same thing. So after you met me, what happened? You know, I mean, when I say when we meet, it's obviously because, yeah, Karan, it's wonderful chatting with you. I'd love to chat with you more often. But at the same time, you're also my, you transcribe me to the world out there. My audience, people who want to meet me. I meet them.
So the press creates an image, then gets taken in by the image. It doesn't realize it's false. And when they meet the real Aishwarya, they're so surprised.
Keep turning on and saying, we're so surprised. So who created person A, and who is person B, and who are you surprised by? And then again, what are you going to project me as?
So today, have I got the real Aishwarya?
You tell me. Do you think this has been pretentious?
Tell me, you're only 27. You've been Miss India, you've been Miss World, you're the #1 actress. What next?
I don't know, 28?
You mean 1 year at a time?
Oh, one moment at a time, a day at a time.
I've read that you want to direct. Is that true?
No, it's sweet. It's been my directors who've been teasing me about this. Actually, it started with around Sanjay, and they all just tease. Every time I kind of work, I get like really, I love discussing with them and really getting into what it's all about. Maybe not necessarily my scene, the story, another scene, another shot. That's what I enjoy about the world. I kind of really...
The director's beginning to emerge, even if you won't admit it.
They tease me. No, I haven't, like I said, there never has been ever any pre-planning to anything in my life.
You haven't made up your mind as yet, but who knows, one day Aishwarya, the director, might be here too.
I don't know nothing at all. I told you, a moment at a time, a day at a day.
Aishwarya, thank you for a wonderful interview. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing the birth of the director.